Call of Duty 2025, aka Black Ops 6, is already having leaks and rumors starting now this morning on the Twitter timeline and on Reddit. So there's a bunch we're going to go through, and I'm going to go through it as quick and concise as possible so you can know what's going on currently for this year's game. As you can see here, first up on the screen, these are some of the general higher picture rumors, and then we're going to go to the Reddit post and we're going to talk about what else is there. But campaign set in 2035 with a 4-player co-op. Pretty interesting, right? Campaign co-op is definitely something people have asked for in the past. Zombies is set to have the original crew. So like the OG Zombies crew with like Dempsey and Nikolai. Apparently there's going to be variations of them in the crew. And it's also going to be the largest round-based Zombies map that I guess we have seen. I feel like they say things like this every single year with like largest or best or whatever you want to say, but we'll see how that works out. Multiplayer may have a 32v32 mode, kind of like Ground War, right? We've seen this in the past. Remakes of old multiplayer maps in a futuristic 2035 setting. There was rumors, dating back to last year, that this year's game in 2025 is going to have all the Black Ops 2 maps at launch, similar to how we had all the MW2 maps at launch of Modern Warfare 3. And also, BO6 items are going to carry over. So obviously, this is going to be another Black Ops game, and it is also going to be developed by the head studio with Treyarch. So Treyarch leading the development once again. People have been a little bit, their opinions have been a little bit different, and maybe in the past with Treyarch recently. They've always been my favorite developer, although I will say a developer like Sledgehammer definitely feels like they listen to the community a bit more. So we'll see how they continue to do this, but Treyarch heading the development, and apparently they could potentially be revealing the game with the June Xbox Game Showcase, or it could even be later on, but let's talk about some of these rumors. Let me zoom in. So this is posted 2 hours ago at the time I'm recording this, which is about 11 a.m. Central Time on February 12th. And this is in a Gaming Leaks and Rumors, and this person claims to have been a part of a study group for the upcoming COD, right? So obviously, I mean, this person could be lying, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But a lot of this stuff does track with things that we previously had, leaked in rumors by some people that tend to have good sources in previous months and even last year. So story set in 2035, like we said, is a follow-up to Black Ops 2. It's going to involve Woods and Mason and one other character. The story mode will have a 4-player co-op. There's going to be a big open map world titled Avalon, which we've seen rumors about previously. Omni movement will return, and it will include wall running. So not jetpacks like some people have maybe wanted in the past, but wall running included with Omni movement. We're going to see how this works, how long you can wall run for, and obviously the maps are going to... It's going to be interesting to see how this works, right? Because if it is BO2 maps at launch, those maps are not built for wall running. But if wall running is going to be a key feature, they're probably going to have to make changes to the original BO2 maps to add, spots where wall running makes sense and to make it flow well on those maps. So that's going to be something to look out for. But upgrades in the movement and trying new things is something I'm always down for. And then if people don't like it, hopefully they just revert and go back to what people did like. Zombies mode has the original crew as multiverse variations, Dempsey, etc., like we talked about. There's going to be a Transit remake, apparently, which I'm actually excited for, because one of the original problems, a little side tangent about Zombies, one of the original problems with Transit back in the day was just like the consoles could not handle generating and, running the entire map because it was just so massive. So now with modern consoles, PCs, a lot of people are playing on, this should hopefully play a lot better, which is going to be exciting. Round-based zombies. There's going to be a difficulty toggle, which is pretty cool. A wonder vehicle, which I guess is different than like a wonder weapon, obviously. And a more story focus, which is definitely great. Zombies mode will feature the largest round-based map ever created. I wonder if that's going to be Transit, potentially, because obviously Transit was massive, and then they could make it even bigger now with modern technology and things like that. 32v32 multiplayer. It'll feature some remakes of popular maps in a 2035 futuristic Japanese style theme. So maybe it's not going to have all of the BO2 maps at launch, but at least some of them are going to be remakes. He said they got examples, but they can't remember the names. One begins with an R. I feel like this is just bait. Like, obviously, they want us to think it's Raid. You think of popular remake maps and it begins with an R, everybody immediately thinks of Raid, which is great for my competitive COD fans. That you know who you are. I'm guessing a lot of you are watching this. Everything's going to have a progression level system, apparently, including grenades, kill streaks, and perks. Plans for multiplayer progression to carry over for Black Ops 6, which is going to be interesting to see how this works. Like, if you're, Prestige Master in BO6, and when this next game comes out, whether it's BO7 or it's whatever they end up calling it, are you going to still be Prestige Master and they're going to add 10 more Prestiges? Like, I don't know how that's going to work, but carryover is always good, so it doesn't feel like your last year's progress is just completely wiped off the board. This person also said they haven't played Call of Duty in years, but would be interested in this title based on what they saw. So, like I said, there's no way to prove if this person's telling the truth as a playtester or someone who got to see the game in a bit of a study group. A lot of these things have kind of been already talked about or rumored previously, which is why either they're just making stuff up that matches what's already been done, or they actually have seen the game. They also add on here, Alex Mercer is apparently returning as a protagonist, and there's going to be shape-shifting. You're going to be able to transform into other people to infiltrate areas, and the game will be set in New York. This is obviously for the campaign, which I guess is just an added thing. I don't know how many people still really are into COD campaigns these days. But I mean, COD 2025 is right around the corner, right? If the game ends up coming out in, like, let's say October, November, which is the typical time for COD, that's in 6 to 7 months, right? We're already halfway through April. We're halfway through Black Ops 6's game cycle. So a lot more news is going to come out. So if you want to stay up to date with anything that happens, sub to the channel. You can turn noties on. I will post about this whenever, news that's long enough to go in a YouTube video will come out. If not, I usually will post like a TikTok or a YouTube short talking about some little information. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about these rumors down below in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.